Across continents and centuries, civilizations carved secrets into stone. Yet the knowledge behind them has vanished. From deserts to mountaintops, the question remains, were these monuments built for the eyes of mortals, or for something far beyond? Beneath the arid skies of southern Peru, etched into the desert floor, lies one of humanity's most enduring enigmas, the Nazca Lines. Stretching across nearly 500 square kilometers, these massive geoglyphs depict geometric patterns, animals, and shapes so vast they can only be fully appreciated from the air. First brought to global attention in the 20th century, the lines date back at least 1,500 years, created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE. Crafted by removing the reddish surface pebbles to reveal the lighter earth beneath, they have remained preserved thanks to the region's extreme dryness and minimal wind. Some figures span over 300 meters, including the hummingbird, the spider, and the enigmatic astronaut. Scholars have debated their purpose for decades. Some propose they were ritual pathways, aligned with celestial events, guiding processions in honor of deities tied to water and fertility. Others suggest they functioned as a kind of astronomical calendar, tracking the solstices and equinoxes. Yet, their full scale suggests a perspective far beyond ground level, a fact that has inspired alternative theories, from hot air observation platforms to far more unconventional possibilities. Standing at the edge of the Nazca Desert today, the silence is absolute. The lines stretch toward the horizon, as precise now as when they were first drawn. And while modern science has uncovered much about their construction, the deeper question remains, who exactly were they meant for to see? High on the windswept plateau of the Bolivian Andes lies a place where stone defies time and perhaps understanding. This is Puma Punku, part of the ancient Tiwanaku complex, a site that continues to challenge archaeologists with its precision and mystery. Dating back over 1,000 years, Puma Punku's ruins are scattered blocks of andesite and red sandstone, some weighing more than 100 tons. Yet it is not their size alone that astonishes. It is the workmanship. Perfectly straight cuts, crisp right angles, and interlocking shapes appear as though carved by modern machinery, though no such tools are known to have existed here. Many blocks fit together without mortar, locked so tightly that even a blade cannot pass between them. The Tiwanaku civilization, which flourished around Lake Titicaca, left no written records to explain Puma Punku's purpose. Some scholars believe it was a ceremonial platform, a gateway into a sacred enclosure. Others point to the site's unusual orientation and speculate on possible astronomical alignments. But the combination of its engineering sophistication and the high-altitude location, over 3,800 meters above sea level, raises questions about the knowledge and capabilities of its builders. Today, the fragmented walls lie under the open sky, scattered like the pieces of a colossal puzzle. Whether the result of ancient catastrophe, deliberate dismantling, or something still unknown, Puma Punku's stones seem to guard a secret, one that has endured for over a millennium and still waits for a voice to tell its full story. Just a short walk from Puma Punku, on the southern shores of Lake Titicaca, stand the remains of Tiwanaku, the heart of an empire that flourished in the high Andes for nearly 1,000 years. Revered as a sacred city, Tiwanaku was more than a political center. It was the spiritual and cultural core of a civilization whose influence reached deep into South America. The site is dominated by monumental structures. The Acapana Pyramid, a terraced platform rising in stepped layers, the Kalasasaya Temple, with its massive stone pillars framing the horizon, and the celebrated Gateway of the Sun, a single megalith carved with intricate, enigmatic figures. These carvings, some say, depict a calendar or a cosmological map, their meaning lost to time. Archaeological evidence suggests Tiwanaku was a hub of trade, art, and agricultural innovation, sustaining tens of thousands despite its harsh, high-altitude climate. Its engineers mastered irrigation canals and raised field farming, turning the surrounding plain into a fertile landscape. And yet, by the 12th century, the city was abandoned, its cause still uncertain. Climate change, resource depletion, or political collapse are all considered, but no single explanation fits all the evidence. Standing among Tiwanaku's weathered stones today, the silence is heavy with absence. The precision of its masonry, the depth of its artistry, and the mystery of its sudden fall all speak of a civilization both powerful and enigmatic. Like Pumapunku, Tiwanaku offers glimpses of a story whose final chapter remains unwritten. Above the red-tiled rooftops of Cusco, on a hill that watches over the former Inca capital, rise the monumental walls of Sacsayhuaman, a fortress, a ceremonial complex, and a masterpiece of ancient engineering. Built from massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, Sacsayhuaman's walls are arranged in a zigzag pattern, forming 3 vast terraces. Each stone was cut and shaped with such precision that the blocks fit together without mortar, locking in place through a complex interplay of angles and curves. Even after centuries of earthquakes, the structure stands firm, a testament to Inca mastery of stonework. Historical records suggest that construction began under the reign of Pachacuti in the 15th century, yet the scale and complexity have led some to speculate about earlier origins. The site's elevated position offered both strategic defense and sweeping views of the surrounding valley. But beyond its military use, Sacsayhuaman also played a role in Inca rituals, hosting grand festivals such as Inti Raymi, the celebration of the sun god. Walking along the base of the walls, the stones seem almost alive, each one unique, each one fitted with an artistry that defies easy explanation. How such enormous blocks were transported, shaped, and set into place without iron tools or the wheel remains a matter of debate. Today, Sacsayhuaman stands as both a symbol of Inca ingenuity and a silent guardian of mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. The walls endure, as if holding their secrets in stone. Deep in the sacred valley of Peru, framed by steep mountains and rushing rivers, stands Ollantaytambo, a living Inca town and an ancient stronghold frozen in stone. Terraces climb the mountainside in perfect alignment, their massive retaining walls both practical and imposing. Above them, colossal stone blocks form the unfinished Temple of the Sun, each block cut from pink granite and transported from a quarry across the valley, a feat that required moving stones weighing up to 50 tons over rivers and rugged terrain. Ollantaytambo served as both a ceremonial center and a military fortress. Its high vantage point and narrow pathways made it nearly impregnable, a fact proven during the Spanish conquest when Inca forces, led by Manco Inca, used the site to repel an attack, flooding the plain below to trap the enemy. The precision of the masonry here mirrors other Inca masterpieces. Stones shaped to interlock perfectly without mortar, resisting the centuries and the tremors of countless earthquakes. The layout of the terraces, storehouses, and ceremonial structures reflects deep knowledge of agriculture, engineering, and astronomy. Today, the wind still sweeps through the ruins, carrying with it the echo of footsteps from a world that thrived in harmony with the land. Ollantaytambo endures, its walls and terraces a testament to an empire's ingenuity and to the mysteries of its sudden fall. On the Giza Plateau, rising from the desert with a defiant symmetry, stands the Pyramid of Khafre, the second largest of Egypt's Great Pyramids, yet in many ways the most visually striking. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre in the 4th dynasty, around 2500 BCE, it still retains fragments of the original polished limestone casing at its peak, offering a glimpse of how all the pyramids once gleamed in the sun. The structure measures 143 meters in height and is built from millions of limestone blocks, each carefully cut and positioned. At its base lies the Valley Temple of Khafre, connected to the pyramid by a stone causeway, and nearby, the Great Sphinx, a monument whose face is often associated with the pharaoh himself. Inside, narrow passages lead to the burial chamber, carved directly into the bedrock, where a massive granite sarcophagus once held the king's body. The pyramid's alignment with the cardinal points is near perfect, a feat achieved without modern instruments, reflecting a deep understanding of mathematics and astronomy. Centuries of wind, sand, and human intervention have left their marks, yet the pyramid still commands the horizon, its presence as imposing now as it was in Khafu's time. Standing before it, the mind is drawn not only to its grandeur but to the enduring question: how did ancient hands raise such precision and permanence from the desert floor? At the southern end of the Giza Plateau stands the Pyramid of Menkaure, the smallest of the three Great Pyramids, yet no less significant in its design and history. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Menkaure in the 4th dynasty, around 2490 BCE, it rises to a height of just over 65 meters, its scale balanced by remarkable craftsmanship and unique features. Unlike its towering neighbors, Menkaure's pyramid was partly clad in granite at its base, a costly and labor-intensive choice that set it apart from the predominantly limestone casings of Khufu and Khafu. The granite blocks, some weighing several tons, were precisely fitted, their polished surfaces once reflecting the desert sun. The pyramid complex includes 3 subsidiary pyramids, likely intended for queens or royal family members, and a mortuary temple connected to a causeway leading to the Valley Temple. Excavations within revealed a finely crafted sarcophagus, now lost to the sea after a shipwreck in the 19th century, and fragments of a wooden coffin bearing Menkaure's name. Though smaller in stature, the Pyramid of Menkaure embodies the same precision of alignment and engineering skill as its larger counterparts, its orientation to the cardinal points nearly exact. Today, it stands weathered but resolute, a reminder that in ancient Egypt, power and legacy were measured not only by size, but by the endurance of stone against the passage of time. At the edge of the Giza Plateau, where desert meets the floodplain of the Nile, stands the Valley Temple of Khafu, a monument of quiet strength and enduring mystery. Built over 4,500 years ago as part of Pharaoh Khafu's pyramid complex, it served as the ceremonial gateway for the king's final journey from river to tomb. Constructed from massive limestone core blocks and sheathed in polished red granite, the temple's walls rise in clean, unadorned plains. Inside, the cool dimness is punctuated by the rhythm of square pillars, each carved from single monoliths, creating a space both austere and monumental. The floor, once paved in alabaster, would have reflected the light from narrow openings above, casting a soft glow across the chamber. It is here that the mummification rituals are believed to have taken place, the pharaoh's body prepared according to sacred rites before being transported along the causeway to the pyramid. Archaeologists have also uncovered colossal diorite statues of Khafu within the temple, masterpieces of ancient craftsmanship, their lifelike presence a testament to the artisan's skill. Time has stripped away much of its ornamentation, yet the Valley Temple remains intact, its granite surfaces still bearing the marks of ancient tools. Standing within its walls, one senses both the precision of its builders and the solemn purpose it served. It is a place where architecture becomes ritual, and stone holds the memory of a king's passage into eternity. Northwest of the Giza Plateau, on a windswept rise overlooking the desert, lie the weathered remains of the Pyramid of Abu Rawash, a monument often called Egypt's Lost Pyramid. Built for Pharaoh Djedefre, the son and successor of Khufu, it dates to the 4th dynasty, around 2500 BCE, yet today it appears less as a towering structure and more as a ruin scattered across the rocky hill. Originally planned to rival the Great Pyramids of Giza, the Abu Rawash Pyramid may have reached a height of about 67 meters. It was constructed from limestone blocks quarried nearby, with a core of rough stone and a casing of fine white limestone. Its elevated position would have made it visible from miles away, gleaming in the sun above the Nile Valley. Unlike its famous neighbors, the pyramid never saw completion, or was dismantled soon after. Scholars debate whether it was abandoned due to the pharaoh's short reign, or deliberately dismantled in later centuries to reuse its stone. What remains today are fragments of its causeway, traces of the mortuary temple, and the deep pit of its burial chamber carved directly into the bedrock. Standing among the scattered blocks, the silence is unbroken except for the desert wind. The Abu Rawash Pyramid offers only hints of its original grandeur, leaving behind more questions than answers, a reminder that even in the age of the pyramids, not every vision was destined to endure. Rising from the sands of Dashur, its sides changing angle midway to the summit. The bent pyramid stands as one of ancient Egypt's most unusual and revealing monuments. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Sneferu in the 4th dynasty, around 2600 BCE, it marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of pyramid construction. The structure begins with a steep slope of 54 degrees, but partway up, the angle shifts to a gentler 43 degrees, giving the pyramid its distinctive bent profile. Scholars believe this change was made mid-construction, possibly to prevent structural collapse or to adapt to shifting ground beneath its weight. The result is a shape unlike any other royal tomb in Egypt. The bent pyramid is remarkable not only for its form but for its preservation. Much of its original polished white limestone casing remains intact, offering a rare glimpse of how pyramids once shone in the desert sun. 2 separate entrance passages lead to its internal chambers, a design that has fueled speculation about its symbolic or experimental purpose. As one of Sneferu's ambitious building projects, the bent pyramid stands alongside the nearby Red Pyramid as a testament to the trial, error, and innovation that defined Egypt's early pyramid age. Today, its angles cast shifting shadows across the plain, a silent record of an ancient engineer's challenge and the decision that left behind one of the most distinctive silhouettes on the Nile. In the desert of Dashur, its slopes rising in perfect symmetry, stands the Red Pyramid, Egypt's first successful true pyramid, and the final triumph of Pharaoh Sneferu's architectural ambition. Built around 2600 BCE, it takes its name from the warm reddish hue of the limestone that forms its core, though in antiquity it too was clad in gleaming white casing stone. The Red Pyramid measures 105 meters in height with a slope of 43 degrees, a deliberate choice after lessons learned from the structural challenges of the nearby Bent Pyramid. This shallower angle gave the monument both stability and grace, setting the standard for all pyramids that followed. 3 corbelled chambers lie within, linked by low, narrow passages that echo with the sound of footsteps. The air inside is heavy with the scent of ancient stone, as if holding the memory of the workers who toiled to raise it. Its burial chamber, deep within the structure, would once have held the pharaoh's sarcophagus, though no remains have been found. Standing in the open desert, the Red Pyramid's clean lines meet the horizon without interruption, its geometry a statement of precision and permanence. Here, Sneferu achieved what generations would emulate, the perfected form of the pyramid, enduring for over 4 millennia, and still watching over the sands as the desert sun turns its limestone walls to gold. In the ancient necropolis of Saqqara, rising in a series of 6 limestone tiers, stands the step pyramid of Djoser, the oldest monumental stone structure in Egypt and the world's first pyramid. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Djoser in the 3rd dynasty, around 2670 BCE, it marked a revolutionary shift in architecture, transforming the traditional flat-roofed mastaba tomb into a structure that reached toward the sky. Designed by the pharaoh's architect, Imhotep, the pyramid began as a single mastaba and was expanded in stages to its final stepped form, standing 62 meters high. Its core is built of limestone blocks, and its outer walls were once faced with fine white stone, gleaming above the surrounding desert. The pyramid is part of a vast mortuary complex, enclosed by a massive limestone wall with courtyards, chapels, and ceremonial gateways. Beneath the pyramid lies a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers extending over 5 kilometers, designed to protect the pharaoh's burial chamber at its heart. Blue glazed tiles line some of the corridors, evoking the reed mats of royal palaces, a symbolic link between the earthly and the divine. The step pyramid is more than a tomb. It is a statement of ambition, faith, and innovation. Over 4,600 years later, it still dominates the horizon at Saqqara, its silhouette a reminder of the moment when stone first began to reach for eternity. Behind the temple of Seti I in Abydos lies a structure unlike any other in ancient Egypt, the Osirian. Partly buried beneath the desert and often flooded by groundwater, it stands as a mysterious blend of monumental engineering and enigmatic purpose. Believed to have been built during the reign of Seti I in the 13th century BCE, the Osirian's construction differs sharply from the ornate style of his temple. Here, massive granite blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, are arranged in stark, cyclopean simplicity. The central hall is framed by towering pillars and surrounded by a trench that may once have been filled with water, giving the space an almost otherworldly atmosphere. Decorations within the Osirian are sparse, yet notable is the flower of life pattern etched into some of the granite, a motif whose origin and meaning remain debated. Ancient texts link Abydos to the cult of Osiris, god of the afterlife, and some scholars suggest the Osirian symbolized the primeval mound from which creation emerged, serving as a ceremonial center for rebirth and eternity. Whether it was a symbolic tomb, a ritual space, or an adaptation of far older foundations, the Osirian defies easy classification. Standing among its immense stones today, half submerged in shadow and water, one feels the presence of a monument that was never meant to reveal all its secrets, a place where the ancient world kept its deepest mysteries. At the sacred site of Abydos, where pharaohs sought eternal connection with the gods, stands the Temple of Seti I, a masterpiece of New Kingdom architecture and devotion. Built in the 13th century BCE by Seti I and later completed by his son, Ramesses II, it honors Osiris, Isis, Horus, and other deities central to Egypt's spiritual life. The temple's limestone walls are adorned with some of the finest reliefs in ancient Egypt, their lines sharp and colors remarkably preserved. Scenes depict offerings to the gods, ceremonial processions, and moments of divine blessing, each carved with exquisite detail. The artistry reflects not only religious reverence but also the high craftsmanship of Seti's reign. The layout is unique. 7 sanctuaries arranged side by side, each dedicated to a different deity, allowing simultaneous worship within a single sacred space. Beyond its religious function, the temple is historically significant for the Abydos king list, a chronological record of Egypt's rulers, inscribed on its walls, offering invaluable insight into the nation's dynastic history. Behind the main temple lies the enigmatic Osirian, connected symbolically and perhaps ritually to the complex, reinforcing Abydos's role as a center for the cult of Osiris and the mysteries of the afterlife. Today, the Temple of Seti I stands as both a work of devotion and a repository of history. Its reliefs speak across millennia, preserving a vision of a world where gods walked alongside kings, and stone became a vessel for the divine. In the ancient city of Thebes, on the east bank of the Nile, stretches one of the largest and most awe-inspiring religious sites ever built, the Karnak Temple Complex. Constructed over more than 1,500 years, from the Middle Kingdom through the Ptolemaic period, it is not a single temple, but a vast network of sanctuaries, halls, pylons, and obelisks dedicated primarily to Amuniasare, king of the gods. Covering over 100 hectares, Karnak was expanded by successive pharaohs, each adding their own mark to its monumental architecture. At its heart lies the Great Hypostyle Hall, a forest of 134 towering columns, some rising over 20 meters high, their surfaces covered in inscriptions and reliefs that record centuries of devotion, conquest, and ceremony. Sunlight filters through the open roof, casting shifting shadows that animate the ancient carvings. The complex also houses sacred lakes, processional avenues lined with ram-headed sphinxes, and towering obelisks, some still standing, others toppled but not forgotten. The sheer scale of Karnak reflects not only the religious fervor of ancient Egypt but also its political power, as the temple functioned as both a spiritual and administrative center. Even in its ruined state, Karnak retains an overwhelming presence. Walking its avenues is to move through layers of history, each stone bearing the name of a ruler who sought to honor the gods and secure their place in eternity. It is a city of temples within a city, where the voice of ancient Thebes still resonates in the silent columns. On the east bank of the Nile, in the heart of ancient Thebes, stands the Luxor Temple, a monument not to a single god, but to the renewal of kingship itself. Built primarily during the reigns of Amenhotep III in the 14th century BCE and Ramesses II in the 13th century BCE, it formed a vital part of the ceremonial landscape of Thebes, connected to the Great Karnak Temple by a processional avenue lined with sphinx statues. Unlike many temples in Egypt, Luxor was not dedicated to the worship of a deity alone. Instead, it served as the setting for the annual Opet festival, a grand celebration in which statues of the gods Ammonius, Mut, and Khonsu were brought from Karnak to Luxor, reaffirming the divine legitimacy of the pharaoh. The temple's entrance is dominated by the massive first pylon of Ramesses II, once fronted by 6 colossal statues of the king and 2 towering obelisks, one of which now stands in Paris's Place de la Concorde. Beyond lie courtyards, colonnades, and intricately carved chambers, each bearing the marks of rulers who contributed to its splendor over centuries. At night, when the sandstone glows under golden lights, the temple takes on an almost timeless presence. Here, in the interplay of shadow and stone, one can still sense the processions, music, and incense that once filled its halls, echoes of a tradition that sought to bind the power of kings to the eternal rhythm of the gods. In the northeastern outskirts of modern Cairo lies the ancient site of Heliopolis, once one of Egypt's most important religious centers, dedicated to the sun god Ra. Today, little remains of this sacred city, except for a single towering relic, the obelisk of Senusret I, carved from a single piece of red granite and standing over 20 meters tall. This lone obelisk has endured for nearly 4,000 years. Its sides bear finely incised hieroglyphs praising the pharaoh and honoring Ra, their edges still sharp despite centuries of wind and sand. It is the oldest surviving obelisk in Egypt, and the last visible trace of a temple complex that once rivaled any on the Nile. Heliopolis was famed in antiquity as a center of learning, philosophy, and astronomy, attracting scholars from across the ancient world. The city's obelisks were more than decorative monuments. They were symbolic sunbeams in stone, physical embodiments of the connection between earth and the divine. Many of them were later moved to adorn cities from Rome to Istanbul, leaving only this solitary sentinel behind. Standing in its shadow today, surrounded by the noise of the modern city, the obelisk seems almost out of place, a fragment of a vanished world. Yet it continues to mark the spot where, for millennia, people gathered to honor the rising sun, and where stone and sky met in devotion to a god who never truly set. In the granite quarries of Aswan, where ancient Egypt's master stonecutters once labored, lies a colossal monument that never rose, the unfinished obelisk. Carved directly from the bedrock, it would have been the largest known obelisk ever erected, measuring an estimated 42 meters in height and weighing over 1,000 tons. Commissioned during the reign of Queen Hatshepsut in the 15th century BCE, the obelisk was intended to join its counterparts in honoring the gods and proclaiming royal power. Craftsmen had nearly completed its form, using dolerite pounders to chip away at the granite with remarkable precision, when a critical flaw appeared, a deep crack running through the stone. Unable to salvage the project, the workers abandoned it where it lay, leaving behind a frozen moment in the process of creation. Today, the obelisk remains partially attached to the quarry floor, its smooth surfaces and chisel marks offering an extraordinary glimpse into ancient engineering techniques. The site is more than a relic. It is a record of ambition halted by nature. Standing beside it, one can imagine the immense effort required to move such a monument, and the silence that must have followed when the work stopped forever. The unfinished obelisk endures as both a testament to the skill of Egypt's builders and a reminder that even the grandest visions are at the mercy of the stone itself. Beneath the streets of Paula, Malta, hidden from the sun for over 5 millennia, lies the hypogeum of Halsaflini, an underground sanctuary and necropolis unlike any other in the ancient world. Discovered by chance in 1902 during construction work, it revealed a labyrinth carved entirely from limestone, descending through 3 levels into the earth. Dating to around 3,300 BCE, the hypogeum served as both a ceremonial site and a burial place for thousands. Its chambers are linked by narrow passages, some opening into vast halls supported by carved pillars, their walls painted in swirling red ochre designs that still survive after thousands of years. The architecture mirrors that of above-ground temples, suggesting a deliberate reflection of sacred space below the surface. Among its most intriguing features is the so-called oracle room, where the curved walls and specific acoustics amplify sound in a way that seems designed for ritual chanting or speech. Artifacts found here, figurines, beads, pottery, hint at complex spiritual practices, while the sheer scale of the site speaks to a community invested in honoring both life and death. The hypogeum remains shrouded in mystery. How it was lit, why it was eventually sealed, and the full meaning of its symbols are questions still debated by archaeologists. Walking through its silent corridors today is to step into a world where stone, darkness, and echo combine to preserve the voices of a people long vanished. On the rugged southern coast of Malta, where cliffs drop steeply into the Mediterranean, stand the Nazca temples, among the oldest freestanding stone structures in the world. Built between 3,600 and 2,500 BCE, they form part of Malta's extraordinary prehistoric temple tradition, predating even Stonehenge and the pyramids of Egypt. Constructed from the island's soft limestone, Nazca consists of 3 adjoining temples arranged in a cloverleaf pattern. The walls are formed from massive megaliths, some weighing several tons, fitted together with remarkable precision. Within, carved altars, decorated slabs, and small niches suggest a space dedicated to ceremonial and possibly astronomical purposes. The lower temple, closest to the sea, is particularly notable for its alignment with the movements of the sun. On the equinoxes, sunlight passes directly through the main doorway to illuminate specific slabs within, while during the solstices, the light falls in alignment with the temple's side chambers. Such precision reveals a sophisticated understanding of the solar cycle and its importance to the people who built it. Time and weather have worn the stone, yet Nazca still commands a breathtaking view of the open sea, as it has for over 5 millennia. Standing here, with the wind sweeping in from the horizon, one feels the enduring link between these ancient builders, the sky they studied, and the sacred spaces they left behind.